Alright, folks, let's dive into the 5 things the Bible lays out for handling your money like a pro. These aren't just tips, they're time-tested truths that, if you follow them for a decade or two, will transform your financial life. I'm talking mind-blowing results, every single time. Why? Because the Bible says, as you sow, so shall you reap. Plant nothing, and you'll harvest nothing but dust. Plant wisely, and you'll see a crop that'll make your head spin. You're the farmer of your finances, so let's get to planning with these 5 steps. Step 1. Write down a plan, and stick to it. Proverbs 21:5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty." In the money world, we call this a budget, but don't let that word scare you, it's just a plan to tell your money who's boss. Jesus warned about building a tower without counting the cost, or you'll end up with a half-finished project and people laughing at your mess. Luke 14:28-30. A budget is your blueprint for winning with money. Without it, you're like a quarterback running onto the field with no playbook. Good luck winning the Super Bowl like that. Here's how to do it. Grab a notebook, a spreadsheet, or an app, whatever works for you. Every month, before you spend a dime, write down your income and list every expense. I mean everything: rent, groceries, gas, that $5 coffee habit, and even the Netflix subscription. Assign every dollar a job. If you make $4,000 a month, decide where all $4,000 goes. $1,200 for rent, $500 for groceries, $200 for gas, and so on. Don't leave a penny unaccounted for. This isn't about restricting your life, it's about giving you control. Let me paint a picture. I knew a guy, Mike, who was making decent money but always felt broke. He'd say, "I don't know where it all goes." So, we sat down and made a budget. Turns out, he was spending $300 a month on takeout and another $200 on random online subscriptions he barely used. He redirected that money to pay off his car loan faster and started building savings. Within 6 months, he felt like he got a raise, without earning an extra cent. That's the power of a plan. Pro tip: review your budget monthly. Life changes, gas prices go up, kids need school supplies. Adjust as needed, but stick to the plan. And if you're married, do this with your spouse. A budget isn't just numbers, it's a shared vision for your family's future. Write it down, live it out, and watch how it changes everything. Step 2. Get out of debt like your life depends on it. Proverbs 22:7 doesn't mince words. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Debt isn't just a bill, it's a chain around your neck. Every time you borrow, you're handing over your freedom to a bank, a car dealer, or a credit card company. I've been there, drowning in debt, feeling like my paycheck wasn't mine. It's no way to live. The Bible's clear: if you want financial peace, you've got to break free from debt. Period. Start by listing all your debts: credit cards, student loans, car payments, that personal loan from your cousin. Don't hide from it, face it. Now, use the debt snowball method. Pay minimums on everything, but throw every extra dollar at the smallest debt first. When it's gone, roll that payment into the next smallest debt. It's not about math, it's about momentum. Say you've got a $500 credit card balance, a $2,000 medical bill, and a $10,000 car loan. Attack that credit card with everything you've got. Maybe you cut eating out and put an extra $200 a month toward it. In 3 months, it's gone. Now take that $200 and add it to the medical bill payment. You'll be shocked how fast it snowballs. Here's a real example. Sarah, a single mom, had $15,000 in debt, mostly credit cards and a car payment. She was skeptical but started the debt snowball. She sold some old furniture, picked up a side gig driving for Uber, and cut her cable subscription. In 18 months, she was debt-free except for her mortgage. She told me, "I feel like I can breathe for the first time in years." That's what freedom feels like. One big hurdle? Learning to say no. No to financing a new phone, no to that vacation you can't afford, no to keeping up with the neighbors. Get a debit card, not a credit card. I haven't used a credit card in over 30 years, and my wallet's simple: debit card for my checking account, driver's license, and cash. That's it. If you can't pay cash, you can't afford it. Tough love, but it works. The day you make your last debt payment, you'll feel like you won the lottery, because you'll own your income again. Step 3. Surround yourself with wise, money-smart people. The Bible's crystal clear in Proverbs 13:20. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Your friends don't just influence your Friday night plans, they shape your financial future. Studies show your income often ends up within 10 to 15% of the average of your closest friends over a decade. Hang out with people who spend like there's no tomorrow, and you'll be broke. Hang out with people who budget, save, and give generously, and you'll start picking up their habits. It's like osmosis, you become who you hang with. Think about it, if your buddy's always bragging about his new leased BMW or designer sneakers he can't afford, it's easy to feel pressure to keep up. But if your crew talks about paying off debt, investing in retirement, or helping their community, that's what you'll start thinking about. I saw this in my own life. Early on, I hung out with guys who were all about flashy cars and big loans. I was broke. Then I started spending time with people who lived below their means and planned for the future. My mindset shifted, and so did my bank account. Here's how to do it. Be intentional about your circle. You don't have to ghost your old friends, but choose your inner crew carefully. Join a small group at church where people talk about faith and finances. Find a mentor who's winning with money, someone who's debt-free, saving, and generous. Ask them how they got there. Read books or listen to podcasts by folks who've mastered money God's way. And if you're married, make sure you and your spouse are on the same page. If one of you's a spender and the other's a saver, that's a recipe for fights. Get around couples who budget together and learn from them. A quick story, I met a guy named Tom who was struggling financially. He started hanging out with a group of guys from his church who were all about getting out of debt. They'd meet weekly, share their budgets, and hold each other accountable. Tom said it was like having a team cheering him on. Within a year, he'd paid off 2 credit cards and was saving for the first time. His friends didn't just give him advice, they gave him a new way of thinking. That's the power of wise company. Step 4, save and invest like your future depends on it. Proverbs 6:6-8 tells us to learn from the ant, storing up in times of plenty for times of need. The Bible's blunt, in the house of the wise are stores of choice food and oil, but a foolish man devours all he has. Proverbs 21:20. If you spend every dollar you make, you're not just broke, you're biblically foolish. Ouch, right? I've been that fool, blowing paychecks on stuff I didn't need, thinking I could always earn more. Spoiler, that doesn't work. Saving and investing is how you build wealth that lasts, and it starts with intentional choices today. First, save for emergencies. Life's unpredictable, your car breaks down, the AC dies, or a medical bill blindsides you. Without a safety net, you're one crisis away from financial chaos. Start with a baby emergency fund. $1,000 is a good target. Cut out non-essentials like that daily latte or extra streaming service, and you'll hit it faster than you think. Once you're debt-free, except maybe your mortgage, bump it up to 3 to 6 months of expenses, say, $10,000 to $20,000, depending on your situation. That's your shield against life's curveballs. In 2020, when the world turned upside down, folks with emergency funds slept better than those with maxed out credit cards. Trust me, peace is worth it. Now, let's talk investing. Saving keeps you safe, investing makes you wealthy. The Bible praises the wise who store up, but it also shows us the power of putting money to work, like the servant in the parable of the talents who doubled his master's money, Matthew 25:14-30. Start simple. Open a retirement account like a 401k or IRA. If your employer matches contributions, that's free money, take it. Pick low cost, diversified mutual funds with a history of steady growth. For example, if you invest $200 a month starting at age 30 in a fund with an 8% average return, you could have over $500,000 by age 65, thanks to compound interest. That's your money working harder than you do. Real world example. Meet Lisa, a teacher who started saving $100 a month in her 20s. She put it in a simple index fund and forgot about it. By her 50s, that consistent habit turned into a nest egg of over $200,000. She didn't strike it rich overnight, she just kept sowing. You can too. Want to go further? Once you've got retirement on track, consider real estate or a side business, but only with cash you can afford to tie up. The key is consistency. Save first, then invest, and let time and discipline do the heavy lifting. Don't try to outsmart the market or chase get-rich-quick schemes, those are for fools. Be the ant, not the grasshopper. Step 5, give like you mean it. Luke 6:38 says, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over, will be poured into your lap." Generosity isn't just a nice idea, it's a biblical command that rewires your heart and your finances. When you're not scraping by, you've got the power to change lives. Giving isn't about guilt or obligation, it's about joy, impact, and trusting God to provide. And let me tell you, there's nothing like the rush of helping someone in need. Start small if you're tight on cash, but start somewhere. Tithe to your church. 10% of your income is a biblical benchmark, Malachi 3:10. If that feels like a stretch, give what you can and build up. Beyond tithing, look for opportunities to bless others. Pay for a stranger's meal at a drive-thru. Drop off groceries for a neighbor who's struggling. Sponsor a kid's school supplies through a local charity. These acts don't just help others, they remind you that money's a tool, not your master. When you give, you break the grip of greed and open your heart to God's provision. Here's a story to inspire you. I know a couple, John and Maria, who got serious about giving after years of living paycheck to paycheck. Once they had an emergency fund and no debt, they started tithing faithfully and looking for ways to go bigger. One Christmas, they heard about a single dad in their church who couldn't afford gifts for his kids. They quietly dropped off a $500 gift card to a toy store with a note saying, "God sees you." That dad later shared how it restored his hope, and John and Maria said it was the best Christmas they'd ever had. Their kids, who watched it unfold, learned a lesson no toy could teach. Practical tip: make giving intentional. Set aside a portion of your budget for generosity, just like you do for groceries or rent. Maybe it's $50 a month to start. Keep some cash on hand for spontaneous moments, like tipping a server double on a holiday or helping a coworker with a car repair. If you're in a season of abundance, go big, pay a family's utility bill, fund a scholarship, or support a mission trip. And involve your family, let your kids pick a cause to support. It's not about the size of the gift, it's about the heart behind it. I dare you to try this. Next time you're at a diner, leave a $100 tip for a server working a tough shift. Watch their face light up, and you'll feel richer than any billionaire. So, there you go, 5 biblical steps: plan, ditch debt, choose wise friends, save and invest, and give generously. Miss one, and you're limping. Nail all 5, and you're running toward a future that's financially free and full of impact. Start today. Plant the right seeds, and watch God grow a harvest that'll blow your mind.